What is up? You're checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast, what the world is listening to. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity and C, and you are checking out our WWE Monday Night Raw recap from October 9th, 2023. Raw was live in Omaha, Nebraska, and we are 2 nights removed from WWE Fastlane. And we start the night with WWE World Champion Seth freaking Rollins coming out. Seth says this past Saturday night, Shinsuke Nakamura took me to my limit. I didn't know if I was going to get back up, but I did win that match at Fastlane. When the match was over, I felt like I was on top of the world. I was quickly reminded when my adrenaline wore off, it made me realize that my back is still broken, but I'm just getting started. Can I go just one night without me fighting for my life? And then Drew McIntyre comes out. Seth says, "You want a title match, don't you?" Drew says, "Relax. Party is still on. Eventually, someone is going to jump you. I'm going to tell you, man to man, I want a match, but I want you at 100%. How about at Crown Jewel?" Seth says, "You got yourself a match. You used to be in a band. Why don't we play some music and have some fun?" Drew says, "I got some business to take care of backstage, but if you see me come out here, I'll take a pint." That's when we see Damian Priest attack Seth Rollins, and he nails the South of Heaven on Seth. Dominic runs out with the briefcase. However, Drew McIntyre stops Dominic, hits Dominic with a Glasgow kiss, and tosses the briefcase up the ramp. And then Rollins tosses Priest to the floor, evading losing the world championship. Drew McIntyre helping Seth Rollins stay 100%, but by doing that, he's standing in Judgment Days away. So a lot of action there, and Seth accepts Drew's challenge for a crown jewel. We then have our first match, the Viking Rose match. Ivar taking on Kofi Kingston. This is actually a very good match between the two. The end comes after Valhalla attacks Kofi, and then Woods runs down. Ivar then drives Kofi through a table and nails a moonsault, and Ivar is victorious and over at Kofi Kingston, who had a decent match tonight, but I'm excited to see more Ivar stuff as he's kind of becoming his own person. We then see Shinsuke Nakamura interviewed backstage. While the interview goes on, Ricochet attacks Nakamura, but they get separated. We see Damian Priest choking JD McDonough backstage. Rhea is able to get a tag title rematch next week, and he tells JD to prove himself and take care of Drew McIntyre. And then Priest says, "Good luck and get out" to JD McDonough versus Drew McIntyre later tonight. But for now, we have Nia Jax taking on Raquel Rodriguez. And these women had a decent match. They both were able to lift each other up. However, the WWE World Women's Champion Rhea Ripley runs down and tosses Raquel to the floor. Rhea attacks Nia, and then Raquel attacks Rhea Ripley, and then Rhea headbutts Raquel. Shayna Baszler runs down and attacks Nia. Rhea pushes by Shayna. Shayna super kicks Rhea and then nails her running knee, leaving WWE World Women's Champion Rhea Ripley lying. So Shayna Baszler, the last woman standing in that affair between Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, and Rhea Ripley. We see Seth talking to Drew McIntyre backstage. He tells Drew not to worry about Judgment Day because they didn't take the title from him before, and neither can Drew. Shayna says that she is the baddest of the women in the division. We then had the new WWE Tag Team Champions Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes come out. Michael Cole does an interview, and Jay's happy that he's a two-time Undisputed Tag Team Champion, that his partner is Cody. And then Michael asks Cody, "How does winning the titles help you finish the story? Are you content as tag team champion? And will it deter you from finishing the story? Or are you scared to fight Roman Reigns again because you might let people down?" Cody says, "I'm excited to be champion." And then Cole says, "Well, all of us have been there with you to finish the story. You came just this close to the title, just like your dad. Will that be your story?" And before he can answer, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens come out. Sami says everyone's obsessed about finishing a story. I have a story about the Usos were the longest reigning champions, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were in the main event of WrestleMania winning those titles. Cody, congrats on winning those. Jay, I'm happy for you too, but this is when it gets complicated. It should be us holding those titles. Kevin says, I'm not happy at all to see you with those. I want those titles back. I love to challenge you to a tag title match tonight. Here's the problem you guys won't accept because Jay won't be able to deal with losing to us twice. And then Cody says, I think we're friends, but I also think you're wrong. We accept. So tonight, the tag titles on the line, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the champions Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. And we're getting a very interesting dynamic here between Kevin and Sami. Are they going to turn heel? Ricochet comes out for his triple threat match against Bronson Reed and Chad Gable, but Shinsuke Nakamura attacks Ricochet on the ramp, and he continues the match with Ricochet, but definitely at a disadvantage here. This is a great triple threat match between these three. Chad Gable's nails Ricochet with a chaos theory, but then Bronson hits a double senton and a tsunami on Ricochet, and Bronson Reed is going to go on to take on the Intercontinental Champion Gunther next week on Raw. Next, we see Xia Li confront NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch backstage. We see Drew McIntyre defeat JD McDonough after a Claymore. Great action there. Rhea Ripley tells Damian Priest she'll take care of things. We see DIY getting interviewed by Wade Barrett earlier, and Imperium attacked DIY backstage. We saw DIY, the team of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, come together again last week. We see Ricochet looking for Nakamura backstage, and in that look, we see Rhea Ripley speaking to Drew McIntyre. What's happening there? We then see NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch defeat Tegan Nox in another great match here on Raw. This night was filled with good matches. The end comes after Tegan rolls up Becky, but Becky applies a disarmor. Afterwards, the two shake hands. We see Piper Niven challenging Natalya for a match next week. And then Drew McIntyre confronts Jay, and Sami asks if they're good, and Drew just leaves Sami standing there. And then we get our main event, the tag team champions Jay and Cody defeat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn after the 1D Cody Cutter combo. After the match, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens embrace Cody and Jay, hugging them and raising their hands. It looks like Kevin and Sami finally have accepted Jey Uso as a person, as a member of the roster, and as a good guy. So we crowned you all on the rise, and we have a lot of action. What was Rhea talking to Drew about backstage? What's going to happen with the tag titles? Rhea's on top. What will happen? Find out this Friday on SmackDown. But before that, we have a stop NXT. It's going to be a big night, a lot of action. Stay safe and stay uncensored.